I'm sure you noticed the trash. The area that we're in, it's a local hotspot for illegal dumping. Some of the things that you're going to see will be expected, but there are other things I was not only disgusted with, things that made me sad and angry. Just doesn't make any sense.
My line of work, I'm always introducing people to the beauty of this state, but more and more I am running into this. What am I looking at?
So this is a good example of illegal dumping here in the valley. We have that interface of the urban area and nature real close together, and people end up coming out and doing this illegal dumping. It's an issue all around the valley.
Is it a situation where you clean it up and then it comes back, or people see it and they go, oh, I can do that too?
It's both. We do get groups who come out. We'll have volunteer groups because we're not in the trash removal business. We're not budgeted for that. So we do have somebody who coordinates groups together, and it's a crazy hard job, and gets volunteers out there to clean this stuff up, but then it just fills right back up. And trash attracts trash. People see trash and they're like, oh, there's a place where I can dump, and they'll dump their stuff out here. And it just gets worse and worse.
And obviously it's very depressing to look at.
Yeah.
What does it do to the environment?
Well, it's very bad for the environment. I don't think a lot of people understand that there are a lot of plants and wildlife that live out here in the desert, and it's a very fragile environment because it's the desert. It's tough to live out here. So these plants have adapted for living in a desert environment, but they haven't adapted to live in stuff that's been trashed or people driving over things. And as you can see, there's just a few plants here and a few plants there. So when you destroy those areas, you've destroyed the habitat for them.
And you know what else? It's like on a windy day like this, like I'm seeing trash way out there.
Oh yeah,
because it's just getting blown out. When does this happen? Is this in the middle of the night?
I think a lot of it happens in the middle of the night. It's hard to tell because, like I said, we don't have enough people to be everywhere at all times to find when people are dumping trash.
Why is it charred? Why is it all...
Well, what happens is people come out and dump trash, and then someone else will come along and say, oh, this is something that'd be cool to set on fire. And then they set it on fire. Some people are. They just
It's a complete
insane things.
And there's different kinds of trash. There's another pile up here. Let's go take a look.
Yeah.
Because you can find almost anything out here, and you wouldn't think about it, but there's all different kinds of debris and trash out here.
Right. And these things back here, you would think, are not okay. There's the obvious trash that we came from that, you shouldn't be throwing furniture and mattresses out in the desert. But, some people don't, or a larger number of people don't understand how bad landscape trash is. It's obvious this car door shouldn't be thrown out there. But, things like palm fronds and things that are cut in the yard, people think it's just okay to dump out in the desert because, well, it's biodegradable. It's a plant. But this is the desert, and there's two big problems. For one, it's the desert. It doesn't rot. It doesn't decompose out here. It takes hundreds of years for that sort of thing to happen. Another thing is, these are not native plants to the desert. They're not native plants to this area at all in your landscaping. So what ends up happening is you end up bringing out seeds that end up growing out here and then compete with the native plants. And these landscape type plants are bred to survive much better than these ones out that are native plants. So they end up taking over the area.
And I hear you, but I think that somebody who did this doesn't give a damn about any of that. And it's really insulting to anybody who lives and breathes the environment, that breathes and appreciates this state. What do we do?
Well, our biggest weapon for the fight against this is education. And it's teaching people that this is not okay, and the dangers to the environment, to the dangers to the desert, for doing this sort of thing.
Is that going to work?
I would hope so. I remember when I was a kid.
While John and I talked, another Bureau employee arrived. His name is Nate. He's the one and only person at the Bureau of Land Management tasked to remove all the trash. All of it. One guy.
What are, say, the top 5 things that you find out here? There's tires, there's mattresses. What else do you find out here?
Tires, mattresses, couches, just bottles, stuff like that. Like tons of, just piles of household trash that people leave.
So besides a heightened awareness and education of the public, What do you need? I mean, I feel bad for you. You're one guy out here, and you know, you're bringing up the rear. What do you need?
Community vigilance and responsiveness. You know, if you see somebody dumping, if you can, try to get a picture of their license plate and send it in. You can send it to the county, you can send it to us, and try to help us enforce the laws.
You know what else you need? You need an army of people with you. You need a staff.
That's also true, yes. Yeah.
I'm going to advocate for that. Listen, I say this a lot on this show, but today it really hits home. I just want to thank you for fighting the good fight. I know it's an invisible fight. Not everybody sees you or knows you or realizes the value of what you do. I do. Hopefully the audience does now. And I just thank you.
Well, thanks, Sean.
I really appreciate everything that you're doing.
All right.
You know, Nevada, I've met you. I know you. You're better than this. I know that. You don't want this. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to start taking responsibility for your part in this system. And if you're looking at hiring a contractor, make sure that they're licensed. Make sure you dispose of your trash properly. Everything matters. And one more thing. Then you're going to go hiking out here. Maybe I'll see you on the trail. And with Nate's help, we'll beat this thing together.